Welcome to the
Power of J Skull. I love
that.
the new intro. I was just wondering when that was going to fit in.
Fair call to it, and it is a new intro. That's because of that wonderful artist that we got to draw ourselves as our favourite He-Men. And yeah, why not use it in the intro? It's time to upgrade, Jace.
Absolutely.
Now, today, as you've seen in the thumbnail, guys, welcome aboard, of course. And if you do like watching this stuff that we produce each week, please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, hit that notification bell so you'll be aware when the new He-Man show drops. But today, guys, we're talking about Beastman. One of my favourite, Jason, one of the first three figures I ever owned from Master Universe was a Beastman. I love the character, love the little whip. In fact, I think behind you, you have the original Origins one, don't you there, Jason?
Yes, I do. I don't know if I ever owned Beastman as a kid,
Oh,
but I do now.
You do now. Yeah, and while we're there, we might as well get you to show. This can turn into a different type of show. You keep whipping. You've got another version of the figure of the new Eternia run, I think, which to me, before the show, is gorgeous, Jason. You want to just show that?
It is. Now, this is one of the many different costumes you can put on him. I like this one because it harkens back to the original. Of course, he's got a whip, too. Whip. I don't know. And then, he's great. I love this guy. He's one of my favorite figures.
I love the spikes coming out of the gauntlets.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous
piece. It is a great combo of Filmation Beastman and 2002 Beastman. And I have to admit, as much as I enjoyed Revelations, I did not enjoy Beastman's look in that episode. Something about Beastman being shaved was just weird.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird. But I will say the new Eternia run, they have some really great iterations.
Yes, they do.
So for sure. But today we're talking about two episodes that we've decided to chat about in regards to Beastman. First one being Prince Adam No More, and then we'll be talking about Dragon's Brood. So let's start off, mate, with the first of that, the Filmation one, which is, of course, Prince Adam No More, which is written, sir, by Paul Dini, the great
We
Paul
are
Dini.
not worthy. And I do have to say, right off the bat, this is probably one of my new favorite episodes of the Filmation run.
We'll get there, but there's a scene that made me cackle so much, and we'll get to it. But it is. I will put it out there, too. This is a really solid episode. And, you know, I like from the get-go, we're having a dinner party, basically. Well, I think it's a dinner party, but poor Beastman is on the outer here.
Oh, my gosh.
Mate, talk about being brought down a peg in front of your peers.
Okay, tell me that you don't think that Skeletor was a little drunk.
He was. He probably had a little bit too many shots because he was nasty.
Had a little too much to drink, and he just starts just railing on Beastman in front of all of his co-workers. And of course, Beastman is like begging Skeletor, please no, please no, please no. Snake Mountain is a mountain of dependency because that's all Beastman can think about. I mean, he does talk back to Skeletor at one point. Like, you'll be sorry. You'll see me come back. You'll be sorry. And then Skeletor hits that trapdoor. Beastman is gone.
In classic old kind of Hanna-Barbera style, mind you. There was a moment where he levitated for half a second. Yep. But I appreciate Skeletor, mate, you are a real D-I-C-K in this episode, mate. You are... No, not your normal evil. We can all get on board with your evil type, but this time it was especially just mean. You know,
he is mean, but that's okay because I like my Skeletor mean.
It's fair enough. That's fair enough. Now we now cut to a hard cut straight back to our favourites, of course, Adam, Man at Arms, and Orko. Working on the fleet. And I don't have the pic here, but there's an actual fleet of attack tracks, right?
This brings forth some questions that I had while I was watching this episode. Now, we know the attack track is sentient. It is a thinking, feeling machine. It gets its feelings hurt. It gets angry. It gets petty. Are all those attack tracks sentient? Do they speak to each other? They know Prince Adam is He-Man. Or what are they planning?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They would know. They would probably do a lot of complaining, I think, a lot of gossiping between each other. It's
I'm
just like,
sure.
they're not going to let him back in it. Last time Stratos was in the thing, leaves his feathers all over me. It was gross. You know, I'm sure I'd be complaining a little bit. But it blew me away because I didn't know there was a whole fleet of them. In my mind, Jace,
I didn't
there
either.
was one.
That's what I thought. And, I think in dialogue, they still just call it the attack track.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm thinking that.
Maybe they just have one sentient one, and the rest of them are just tracks. I don't know. It's a very weird vehicle also, which I know that they were there to sell toys, but the whole flipping treads thing was it's just, to me, it just seems like that would make it a really rough ride. And I also love the fact
suspension's a key point.
I also love the fact that whenever it's driving around the plaza, you can hear tires screeching. And those things don't have they're not made of rubber. No. I just don't get it. It's like if somebody hit Battle Cat with a stick and he goes, "Roar, roar, roar, roar." It just doesn't make sense.
In the editing bay when they do it, the editors go, I don't have that sound effect. We'll just throw that in
here. They're kids. They don't know.
They don't know.
But then, of course, they immediately switch around after He-Man saves the day, and Orko is hitting the tread with a hammer, and it's making a metal sound.
Yes, it is.
So it's like, come on.
Well, you brought up Orko. I mean, Orko is at it again. Good intentions. Gets him one of these attack tracks. And you're talking about being sentient. They're like, I don't know if they're just like, hey, this seems like a bit of fun. I'm not going to help him out here. But Orko panics. And we get a little, what I call a bonus action scene here, because he loses it and it takes control, starts doing loop. And really, in the beginning of this episode, we get He-Man into action.
Yes.
Pretty well straight away, because he has to come and save our little friend Orko's backside.
Does Orko have a backside?
Shocked. I don't know, actually. I don't know.
Underneath all that, who knows? Can we talk a little bit about how Orko gets into the attack track? Because I had to rewind it while I was watching this episode, and he slips on nothing. He's literally floating in the air, and he goes, "Oh no!" and he falls backwards. And I'm just like, What happened, Paul?
Yeah.
What did you do?
I don't know. Maybe there was a floating banana peel somewhere.
I don't know. It's just a sudden downdraft. I don't know.
Yeah. It works, though. It works.
It does. Orko's a big dork, and I love him. I don't care.
Yeah. Now, what is at the core of this episode, too, which is, I think, really sweet, is Adam's desire to feel worthy for his father. So a lot of what this episode is about is a father and son kind of dynamic, and him, which we don't get a lot of in the Filmation, struggling with the fact that he wants to be seen as someone who could be, without being He-Man, be someone he can rely upon. And I really thought that was really a strong theme to carry this episode through.
I did too, and I don't think it's any coincidence that it's Paul Dini who wrote this episode, because he carried a lot of that over to Batman the Animated Series, because a lot of the times you see Bruce Wayne kind of struggling with the same thing, this duality. Why do I have to be Bruce Wayne and Batman? Why do I have to be Prince Adam and He-Man? I loved Adam in this episode, and that's something I don't usually say, because Adam is just the placeholder buffoon most of the time. But questioning why he has to have a secret identity and being torn between the two, this episode is basically Prince Adam's great power and great responsibility episode. And I thought that for a series that was written in 1984 for children, it was handled with great respect and great dignity and maturity. And that's why I love this episode so much.
I mean, the fact when he goes and sees the sorcerer and he's questioning that, it was like, wow, this is pretty powerful for a standard Filmation He-Man episode. So I kind of dig it.
And the sorceress, for once, is not a complete sociopath and just lays it down like, listen, if they know that you're He-Man, they will come after your family. Which Absolutely. I'm kind of thinking, don't they come after his family every week anyway?
Yeah, well, it works for the moment. Let's not think about next week.
Fine.
Okay, one of the first things that made me laugh in this episode is this next moment here, where we cut back to Beastman where he's at, and I just love the fact that he's lamenting with the beasts, and
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that scene, but there are times where he's saying something how sad he is, and then they cut to those beasts laughing, and then he'll say something that's a bit more hopeful and they're angry. Like, I think the timing of the cuts was all off.
It's that editor who got drunk again. I don't know.
That's it.
I
Must
did
have been
notice
Friday night drinks or something.
He's got a lot of really good new animation in this episode too that I don't ever remember seeing again. A lot of the sniveling and the smiling and the eating. I don't know. Every time there's new animation in one of these episodes that I don't recognize, I pick it out and I'm like, oh, that's something I've never seen. Because they take that one shot of He-Man with his sword going like this, and they use it almost 4 times in 2 minutes at one point.
Well, the punch as well. Don't forget the classic punch and the run.
Yes,
it's probably the most classic. But going back to the Adam relationship, he convinces King Randor not to call He-Man as his guard on this little diplomatic mission. I think it's a diplomatic mission.
Which, honestly, as Randor, that is kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of arrogant to say, "Oh yes, He-Man will be my guard." I don't think He-Man works for you, sir. I think that's like the president saying, "Oh yes, I want Superman on my secret service," and Superman's in this Fortress of Solitude just kind of going, "I don't think so."
No. And interesting enough is Randor doesn't even go Man-at-Arms, who's basically head of security, right?
Well, Man-at-Arms is a psychopath. We know that. He doesn't want to be in the... He does
like,
not want to be in the attack
right.
track with Man-at-Arms. He's going to come back and he's going to have attack track treads instead of legs.
I don't think this is a spoiler of saying Man-at-Arms is the high evolutionary of this series.
No. I'm sure he's probably mutilated animals at some point. Well, we know he has. I mean, we saw what he did to Mechanic.
Yeah, Mechanic is still, cannot explain.
I just had a crick in my neck, and now my neck stretches up 15 feet in the air. I killed a condor yesterday with my face.
That's happened. A bird's flown into his head at some point.
Absolutely. That's happened.
Now, Beastman is opportunistic here. Like, his whole need and desire is to get back in. And you kind of mentioned at the beginning of this that seems to be the whole thing. You said Snake Mountain is a mountain of dependence. Wow. Like, everything in this episode Beastman does is primarily to get back in the good books.
Yeah, he never once thinks about going off on his own. He never says, well, I'll just go make my own Snake Mountain with blackjack and hookers. He never says that. Yeah. He wants back in Skeletor's bosom. He's just like, I just want him to hold me one more time.
Yeah.
It's really I would used to watch a lot of cartoons at Newgrounds back whenever the internet was first new and I was in college. And I kept wondering, why am I seeing so much Skeletor Beastman / stuff?
Really?
Yeah, because there was a whole genre back then. I don't know if it's still around.
Fan stuff,
there was all this fan animation. Nothing explicit or anything, but it was always Beastman and Skeletor were a couple. And I kept thinking, why? Where did that even come from? I see it now. They were a couple, and it was an abusive relationship.
It's toxic as hell.
Yeah,
but
Skeletor's the guy who throws him out, and Beastman's the one who retreats and just goes, I can change him one day. He wouldn't yell at me if I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, he takes the moment and opportunistic, sees the attack track, and ambush them.
Yes.
Which is,
I should also point out that this is where a lot of the animation for the He-Man music video, what's going on, was snapped from, because I was watching this going...
Maybe this moment, was that in this moment in there? Because
because
I like this.
God, don't pray.
I do like this moment because we actually get to see it doesn't matter how much muscular Adam is. He really is a weakling. And very easily overpowered in that scenario.
Well, in Adam's defense, I really don't think many of the masters would be able to get out of a Beastman bear hug, because Beastman he's Beastman. I mean, he's
Well, I
got the
question
powers of
why
a
would you
beast.
want to get out of a Beastman bear hug? Just preference. That's
Just
all.
seems like it would be very comfortable.
Yeah, I think so. I think he'd be warm. That's for sure.
Anyway,
Now,
um,
he obviously they get look at the
Look
way
at
they
King
throw King Randor. Like, come on, guys.
please, sir,
They-
please, sir or ma'am, I'm sorry. I promise I won't do whatever it is I did.
Delight,
Man at arms,
when I saw
why are
that
you
moment.
not even changed position? You're just in the standard standing animation.
Yeah. And basically they kidnap King Randor and put the other two in a temporary freeze, which I thought works.
Hey,
That
you
works
know.
as
Yeah.
you know. So again, Beastman, his whole thing is I've got basically the leader of this planet in my hands, which I could probably get him to give me all the riches he has. I could get him to, no, I'm going to take him back to the X, basically, right?
I can change him.
I can change him, you know. And he does. He makes his way back to Castle Grayskull and dragging him along and, catches up with Merman in this. And Merman seems to be a bit of a friend. I would say at the beginning that Merman was like, what are you doing back here? You shouldn't be here. He's kind of like a bodyguard, man. You got to be careful.
Yeah, they are bros, and I love
They
the
are
fact
bros.
that you see Beastman and Merman are actually friends, and they're not just they quip back and forth at each other, but yeah, these two are just hanging out, and I don't know,
Yeah,
there's something
they
about
care
that
about each other.
Yeah, and I dig that. Merman
Yeah.
is trying to warn him out, like, dude, you need to just leave, all right? He's
Yeah.
bad for you, okay? He's gonna hit you one day. And then I am gonna have to say something. Maybe. I don't know.
But once
The dental here is good. If I ever get any teeth, I'll use it.
once he describes, hey, look, I got King Randor here to Merman. Like, this is great. Let's party. And this is the bit where I start laughing. So they lock him up. And I don't know, they're doing shots of tequila and they're munging on some things. And look at Beastman. How cocky can you be?
Why is Merman sitting on the table like that, though? Why do you put you don't put your rear on the edge and then put your feet towards the middle? That's just uncomfortable and it's unsafe and it's weird.
Well, let's just say there are probably a few drinks in at this point.
Oh, yeah, they're
Anything can
hitting
happen.
whatever Skeletor was hitting earlier.
Yeah, well, whatever
absolutely.
Skeletor's favourite, liquor is, they're into it. But I just thought to myself, man, for someone who wants to get back in the good books, maybe sitting on his chair isn't the right move. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's dropping bombs while he's there. It's like, oh, Skeletor, love this one. Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's going to be, well, what is that?
When you sit on this chair, you will think of Beastman. What the hell? Did a wet dog crap in here? What's going on?
He's opportunistic, but he's not super smart about his plan, though, is he, Jay?
No,
because
he's not. Beastman
He
has never
didn't
been
occur to
a
him
super
once
intelligent
that-
character.
this guy's going to be coming looking for King Randor.
What's wrong with his face?
I don't know. I think he got smacked in the side of the head. That's
I
a bit
think
of
he
a
had a
duh.
He had a stroke or something.
Something happened on the way.
to save you. He-Man, are you okay? I'm fine.
You want to talk about how they make shortcuts in this episode? Clearly, all they had to do was just swap over, like remove the chain and just swap it a different direction, replace He-Man. But they, they get King Randor out of the jail, which is probably for Snake Mountain. Okay, if you've got Snake Mountain, right, and you know your biggest nemesis is He-Man, you may want to fortify the jails a bit better.
You would think. Yes.
Zero effort for He-Man just to go yank.
Yep. That's
Work
pretty
on
much
your
it.
security, people.
Yank, yoink, let's go. Yeah.
Let's go. They face off, obviously, against Merman and... Like there's any chance. Poor Merman here, man. Like he's just...
I know.
I think He-Man just looked at him and he fell over. But look at the cross eyes. Look where they put their hide, like right in the corner there.
Poor Merman. He never gets any respect. I also got to say, Skeletor's robot guards
Yeah.
Mattel, Origins, now.
We don't have
Now.
them. They've not
We
produced them.
don't have them. They've never been
That's
produced.
crazy.
Now.
Because you know what the thing was with those robots? Nobody's buying just one.
No, I'd buy like a 3 or 4 pack of them.
Yeah,
easily.
absolutely.
Like the Skeleton Warriors that are coming out. You know, buy them and send them out in packs. I will buy them. I've always wanted them, and even as a kid, I would go to the store and look for Skeletor's robots, and they were never there. Mattel just, I had not been that disappointed.
That's a damn shame.
Yeah, since the Masters of the Universe movie, I was never that disappointed, except for then.
Yeah, but we still have a little bit of love for that one. I
Smidge.
can't never really hate that film. Like we've done our review on it, but I just can't hate it.
I've got a Gwildor action figure. He's in my Castle Grayskull right now. I love Billy Barty. I love Gwildor. Funniest line in the movie.
You know who else loves Meg Foster besides us? The makers of the sequel to He-Man. Oh my God! When they made that cast announcement, and you sent me it because I didn't know that you sent me the article, and I'm like freaking out, going, "Oh, this is perfection. This is perfection."
I could dive into those eyes. She is. She was beautiful. She is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that she's playing Mainframe in Revolutions.
Yes. Yes. Just to have her voice there, because she's quite a distinct voice, actually.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, getting back to these robots, I know you're cool when you wanted them and stuff, but He-Man doesn't take much to take him down, eh?
Look how sad Beastman is.
Oh, you know what I said?
I was going to change him.
That's because guess who's turned up? The X. The X has turned up, and surprisingly enough, you would think Skeletor's just going to go, well, you're going to die now. But no.
Well, he does give an epic burn. He says, I will cover my throne with your hide. That's my favorite Skeletor insult so far.
It's a good line because it's actually not a bad choice. If you're going to have anybody's hide on your throne, Beastman's got quite a bit of fur there.
Comfy, absolutely. Comfy. But yeah, Skeletor forgot that he threw Beastman out. Apparently, he sobered up and doesn't remember doing it, which I thought was
I love
great.
you, baby. I didn't mean it.
What are you talking about? I never said that. You're crazy.
But the discipline for this episode is basically, you'll clean up the mess.
Yeah,
I'm like, he's not that
Skeletor
bad,
and my mom has the same, the same mentality. I never said that. Clean up your mess.
And that is basically the episode, really. It's really, that's it, isn't it, Jason? Am I forgetting any certain scenes here?
Well,
really?
Beastman's happy at the end going, well, it's good to be home where I can try to change him.
Exactly.
Exactly. I'll just say, again, I'll even say for an episode that would come out now, this was a very mature, it was very intellectual, and I love the way it was handled. This was a great episode. I would say it's in my top 5, maybe even my top 3 right now.
Wow, that's crazy. And it is strengthened, Jace, with the moral message at the end, which we'll play right now.
Today's story was about love, but a very special kind. It was about the love a parent has for a child, and I bet that's the strongest kind of love there is, because for one thing, there's just about nothing that can change it, no matter what. Maybe like Adam's father, your parents find it a little difficult to say, I love you. Even so, you can be sure they do. Besides, let me ask you something. When was the last time you said, I love you to them? Bye!
Wow.
I told my dad I loved him, and he looked at me and said, who are you?
I wouldn't say what my father would have said. Either way, what a powerful message that is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real sad. I'm watching it go, oh man, there's this poor little kid somewhere, who's probably feeling that. And again, the show, the series, and the messaging it was to kids, amazing. Because really was, not only said, hey, your parents always love you, but hey, have you tried to do something? So it's not only about, hey, these things happen, but here's what you can do. And wow, 10 out of 10 for that little message.
Absolutely. That moral actually did remind me of that last scene with Prince Adam and King Randor in the attack track leaving whenever Adam drops his dad a hint about, hey, I remember your left hook. Why would I argue with a man with a left hook? Just kind of makes, I like the idea that one or both of Adam's parents know. And they don't let him know that they know.
More so than the dad?
I think Marlena knows, and I think Randor every now and again suspects. Yeah. He's the guy. He's slow. You know, Marlena knows she's the mom. She knows everything.
Teela's just pretending not to know, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever I have to go find He-Man. Okay, Adam.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Go find He-Man. It's fine.
Hurry up.
Yes, come back with that hero who also has a green tiger and the exact same hair and face as you. Whoever could he be?
Well, that ended that episode. It's time for us to move into the next episode of our look at Beastman, and that is Dragon's Brood.
Yes,
I'm trying to say Dragon's Blood, but Dragon's Brood.
I have to give a disclaimer. Whenever we do these character deep dives, I always try to find an episode from Filmation and an episode from the 2002 series. And I'm going to say right now, we should have just done 2 Filmation episodes, because Beastman, despite the fact that he is a legacy character, despite the fact that he's important, was never featured in an episode of the 2002 series. He was always a background character. He was always comic relief. This one, I thought, well, this one's got the most Beastman scenes. Oh, no, it's got maybe one and a half good Beastman scenes.
Catalyst for the story, isn't it?
He is the catalyst for the story, but yeah, that's all he is. And so I just want to put that out there that I should have just chosen 2 Filmations, or maybe an episode from Revelations. I know we've already covered them, but let's face it, that's the best characterization that Beastman's ever gotten. Whenever he was basically professing his love for Evil Lyn.
Right. Does that also include He-Man and Masters of the Universe CGI? Because
there is good there are good Beastman episodes of that one. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite of the CGI He-Man is a Beastman episode, but I don't want to give out too much information about it. And I don't really want to say too much about it. Yes, because let's just say you're introduced to some characters before you know you've been introduced to them.
Cool. All right. We'll leave
and if you watch them out of order, it kind of ruins that surprise. But I will say that the episode that I'm thinking of is one of my favorite episodes of that series, and the Beastman in the CGI version is probably my favorite iteration of Beastman so far.
Great. Well, I look forward to seeing that. Now, for this one, though, Jace, we talked about him being the catalyst of the story. This is where I think Beastman doesn't have a bad idea. The kernel of the idea isn't bad, where he has acquired some dragon eggs, which he stole, which he wants to raise as his own. Correct?
Yes, because he's never been able to control dragons, which I thought was kind of cool. That's a kind of cool pseudo weakness, yes.
Yeah, and it shows, of course, him being Beastman there's a hole in the bottom of the bag.
Oh, yes. I really liked... I don't know, it was almost like Skeletor was expecting him to screw it up. There's a hole in the bottom of the bag. Oh, is there really?
Yeah, I mean, look. Yeah,
I'm sorry, Daddy. I mean, Skeletor.
So you get pretty early on what this episode was really about, and it's about dragons. You know, we get introduced to both Prince Adam and Teela on the Sky Sleds. So
yes,
can I just say too, throughout this episode, I really like some of these action scenes, Jason. I mean, it's the plot that leads these episodes, but some of the action scenes in this are quite good. And even I didn't mind the opening of the Sky Sleds. It was done well. It looked good. You could tell they were going fast.
Yes, I also really like the fact that Adam was the one who was being responsible in the very beginning because Tila was like,
Yes.
"Race me, Adam, race me," and he was, "No, we got a mission to do. We shouldn't be doing that." And then she goads him, and of course he races her anyway. But I like that they're showing that this is a multifaceted character and that he's not one for just goofing off and being stupid and annoying. 2002, as I've revisited it, has shown a lot of flaws that I didn't remember. But that's one that I really enjoy is that they really make Prince Adam an actual character who is distinct and separate from He-Man. And I like that.
Very much so. I could not agree more. That was very evident in this particular episode too. I thought there was complete separation there. But they come across a cave, and basically, what they find is just get to a dragon there, which, they got to bail from. So we've set it up. There's been a dragon that's been trapped. Adam, being Adam, wants to help everyone, is trying to find out what's behind that wall. Am I missing something here, Jace? I feel like I'm missing an important point.
Well, it's basically the old fable about the mouse and the elephant. No, I'm sorry, the mouse and the lion, where he has to pull the thorn from the lion's paw. Well, this is the part where they're pulling the thorn from the lion's paw. Except it's not a lion, it's a dragon, and it's not a thorn, it's a cave-in.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we of course go to, and I've got to say, one of the good things about the 2002 series, which I do like, I tend to like a lot of the character redesigns.
Yes, they are really good. I don't think a single one had a downgrade. I think all of them were upgraded.
Even our little buddy here, Orko, looks great.
Yes. I love the fact that they made the amulet his O. Because you can recognize who he is, but the design isn't quite so simplistic and silly. And I don't know, he looks more. I don't know. There's something about I love Orko, but something about the shirt with the O on it was always weird to me. It's almost like Alvin and the Chipmunks. He should be singing a high pitched song with him.
The fact that he didn't lose this in the bottom of the tar swamp is a good thing, I think.
Yes.
It always bothered me, eh? You don't go back for it,
Well, there's a lot of tar. I was tired.
Obviously, here's the link. How do we get the dragon eggs to the next part of it? Well, they just happen to be floating down the river because Orko needs new juggling balls. That's why. This is where it starts to really fall apart here.
Orko,
really?
You friggin' moron.
Yeah.
Love you, but dang, come on.
Now, we then obviously, we know that Adam is on a diplomatic mission to not Alderaan, but he's on a diplomatic mission.
How did you read my mind just now?
Yeah.
That's weird.
To go visit the Thundercats, basically.
I love. Okay, my notes say Thundercats.
Thundercats. They're cool looking Thundercats, I must say.
They are. I love it. I think they're great.
Yeah, I did laugh at that too. And I'm like, why is that not a crossover? That just was begging to happen,
I don't think Thundercats were Filmation. I think they were. Oh gosh, they were Nirvana, weren't they? I don't know. It still should have happened.
Remember, yeah.
It should have happened. It could have happened.
People.
I'm sure they're all owned by Disney now. Just do it.
I was getting really concerned in this episode when Orko goes back, right? And we see Ram Man being fat shamed by Man at Arms. Like, the dude's just hungry, all right? Break.
He's not shamed, though. He's just like, I'm eating now and I'm going to eat later. What are you going to do about it, you psycho?
No, he's owning
You're going to replace my mouth with like a shredder? Is that what you're going to do, you psycho? Get out of here, you mad dog.
That's right. He's been listening to Lizzo and he's empowered, so I love it.
Exactly.
However, like, Orko comes in and obviously wants to entertain, as he always does, and we get a moment where we see the eggs hatch, one on the top of Ram Man's head. I got to say, though, who chose the voice for Ram Man? Come on,
I don't know. It sounds like he should be in an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
I was thinking the Looney Tunes. I've got to love him and pet him and keep him forever. Like,
he's got some good lines in this episode, though. Yeah, I really enjoyed the whole, now you're not gonna make me disappear, are you? Last time you made me disappear, it took 3 days to find myself.
That's the greatest line in this episode.
I'm listening to that and It doesn't even occur to me at first. I'm just laying back on my bed watching this, and all of a sudden, my brain just goes, "Wait, back up! What?" Eyes pop wide open. How? How did that even happen? It's not only a great joke; it's a mind fudge.
Yeah.
You can't figure out what that means. I want an episode about this.
It's multi-layered.
Was he disembodied? Was he trapped in a closet? What's going on?
That's it. Well, the other thing I really like, they have this little battle with these little baby cute dragons. I was really afraid that, oh no, they're going to befriend them. And it's going to be a story how they're going to take these little baby dragons back to their mama. But it's not, because these dragons are mean from the get-go. Even a little baby.
After the establishment.
Yeah, basically rebellious.
Workers of the world unite. Pay
The other
your
thing
riders. Pay your riders.
And these dragons grow very quickly.
Oh, okay. I want to hit a couple of things before we talk about that, because I got thoughts.
Okay, go.
So, first of all, right after Ram Man's great line about finding himself, Orko has a great line. Because Man-at-Arms bursts in and says, "Where did all these baby dragons come from?" And Orko goes, "A mother dragon!" Orko, you moron, I love you. That was so funny.
He wasn't wrong, though. He
was not wrong. I did think it was a little cringe when they repeated the joke again, but, I laughed that first time. I will say that. Okay, the dragons grow fast.
Yeah.
The first time we see the dragons a little bit bigger, one of them tries to nab Mechaneck.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't grow without eating.
Yeah.
And they've already tried to snatch a person. They've been eating people.
Mm-hmm.
This episode probably has a death toll in the thousands that we don't see.
Oh, especially in that village.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure after everything, they have that little last laugh at the end. They're like, wasn't there a village down there? It looks abandoned now. Oh, I'm sure it's nothing.
Well, I was more concerned about this village scene because it looked like they were attacking Super Mario's dad from Super Mario Brothers.
Hey, you know what? He deserved it. Screw that guy.
Yeah, he was a bit of a DICK again.
He was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But
you're bringing your brother down with you. Shut up, Dad. What have you ever
who
done
are
with
you,
your
dude?
life?
Just grateful.
Look at me.
But the team comes together in a nice little, again, the action scenes in this episode, I'm not going to fault too much. I think they use the characters quite well. We have a Manny Faces like scene in here as well, which I think it was the first time I'd seen Manny Faces in the 2002 version in an episode.
Yeah, he's been around quite a bit. Okay. I feel bad for Mechaneck, though. Because at one point, Mechaneck spies something. He puts his neck all the way up, and he goes, "There's something happening over there." Man-at-Arms, without even looking, just kind of goes, "Yep." What?
What's the point?
Why is Mechaneck a thing?
Yeah, you can, dude.
You can produce a spyglass. You can look and go, "Yeah, I see the exact same thing you see." This is the only thing I do, Man-at-Arms. You made me like this.
Back at Snake Mountain, they're watching the live stream of all this going down. They're live streaming it, and Skeletor again optimistic.
Leave a comment. Leave a comment.
Yeah, leave it.
Mechaneck, what is even the reason for you? Oh, look, he read it and he's crying.
Trapjaw looks good in that shot too. Do you like the redesign of Trapjaw?
Trapjaw was such a great redesign. All of them had great redesign.
They really did.
A single one that they redesigned that I did not like. No. I was not a big fan of the bony protrusions on Beastman, but overall, I think all of them got the appropriate glow up in this show.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Skeletor quickly goes, well, the idea is to lure them back, because Skeletor, as he said earlier, you're going to get these dragon babies and then give them to me. So that's the plan, to kind of lure them, correct? And don't they put out a ship there to kind of, the dragons start following the ship? The
Evil Lyn makes a light, and the dragons are attracted to light, and so they follow it. Basically, the dragons are moths.
Yeah.
They're just hitting up against.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Skeletor's not the only one watching the live stream, because what's the point of running a YouTube channel with one subscriber? The sorceress is watching the same thing go down.
Yeah, she's sitting there typing. What even is the point of neck and neck?
Yeah.
Okay, I have an issue with this. So the sorceress has to telepathically call Adam, and he has to make an excuse about, oh, I have a bad feeling. Let's head back to the castle.
Yeah.
So Man-at-Arms can replace a dude's neck, and he can invent robots and all these ungodly experiments, and he's never thought about making a radio. Not a cell phone, not even a master who just can like scream really loud and you know, played by Garrett Morris, you know, come back to the castle.
That's a good callback a joke before the show. What was I going to say? They're kind of throwing me out there. That was funny.
That's what I'm on the show for, my friend. That's what I'm on the show for.
I was also thrilled because, as you know, with my drawing namesake, we do get a couple of moments with my boy.
Yes.
Scottish Stratos. So
I haven't been in this episode yet. What's going on?
I have Dragon. The best voice.
Well, best of luck to you. I'm leaving. This has been your Stratos Minutes. Oh, I love Stratos' voice.
He's quality in this series. I'm sorry.
He is.
He's just really good. Now, as you mentioned, we got the magic ball going, right? And the dragons, this is the thing. They're on their way to, they're luring them to Castle Grayskull. Do the dragons even know what they're doing at this point? Because
no, they're just moths. They're just trying to get to the porch light at Castle Grayskull, and the sorceress is trying to hit him with a broom at this point.
And then Sorceress does have some sort of reception because she sends a Wi-Fi message to Prince Adam going,
yes,
you got to get your butt to Castle Grayskull. It's going down now, bro. And the first time ever, I will say, he comes up with an excuse that seems fairly reasonable, right? Of why his ski sled is breaking down. And, I'm losing power.
Yeah, I don't think Tila completely bought it. She was like, okay, Adam, whatever. Yeah.
Well, which falls apart later on because when He-Man comes back on that same ski sled, which has magically now been repaired. So,
well, you know, anyway, He-Man's very handy.
He's very handy. And of course, He-Man's there. We have this, basically the rest of this episode is a massive battle on top of Castle Grayskull.
I have to admit, this last act kind of turned into background noise for me. It was just, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but after a while, you just kind of become numb to it, and there's no story. There's just fighting, and I didn't really care for it.
There are some moments I really enjoyed in this action scene. One of the things I liked, I'm going to use an Australian euphemism term, they had their ass handed to them a lot in this action. That's
not just an Australian euphemism.
Oh, it's an American thing too?
Oh, yeah, we use that one here all the time.
Yeah. Well, we've got one of our lovely co-hosts, Annie, who fell over yesterday, and I said we call that going arse overhead here in Australia. So, poor thing, thankfully she's fine. So you don't worry.
Yes, she is fine, yes.
Thankfully. So it's a giant battle on top of Castle Grayskull, which invariably in the beginning you think it's just a giant battle between He-Man, Teela, and the dragons. That's what's really happening here. And they're not winning by any stretch of the imagination. The dragon, can I say, if he wanted to, would have killed He-Man.
Absolutely. So
He-Man doesn't really beat him at all in this episode. And I did like it. I did like the struggle. I did like the fact that he was being really dominated by that dragon. And I did, Jason. I liked the moment where the dragon recognizes by smell who He-Man is, right? Which is a big thing for the end of the episode.
Yes, I loved how the theme of kindness came back. And as I said, this is an adaptation of The Mouse and the Lion. And, you know, I didn't recognize it at first, but whenever that happened, I was like, oh, okay. I see what they did there.
And of course, the dragon then eases up on He-Man and decides to bail, basically. Look, he's not our enemy. Kids, get your stuff, we're leaving. And that's basically what happens. Boom, he goes. So the dragons go. And of course, Jace, when there's no dragons to be found, our good friend Skeletor gets in the house with his team. Didn't know he had a flying snake before this episode. Never seen it before. Did you know he had a giant flying snake? No.
I had no idea. But, it's Snake Mountain. It's got to be there somewhere. Something that King has left behind.
It's a fair call, actually. If you've got a giant, like, Snake Mountain, you're going to have a giant snake,
when Skeletor moved in, there was all this snake memorabilia and snake vehicles. And, well, it's a bit on the nose, but I'll take this. I'll take the Snake Mobile.
The more I I listened to Skeletor for the 2002 version, the more I've come to appreciate his iteration of the voice. I'm kind of liking Skeletor's voice at this point after seeing a few of these episodes. It's growing on me. It's distinct enough from the first one, but to also be similar to the first one, if you get what I mean.
It takes
it's never going to be as good, but...
No. It takes everything good that Alan Oppenheimer ever did, and just the voice actor makes it his own. I can't remember the voice actor's name at this point, and I feel really bad.
He does a good job.
I think he's a great Skeletor. I'm going to commit some blasphemy here. I actually think he's a better Skeletor than Mark Hamill.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just don't want to verbalize it. I hear what you're saying, and I've thought it. But I felt like it's blasphemy.
I love Mark Hamill, but to me, his version of Skeletor was too jokery.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I did get used to it, and I did enjoy it. I think he did a fantastic job. It was just, to me, it was
have to work at getting over the fact that it sounds like the Joker. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Back to this episode, though. They have a great... I love when all the He-Man turn up and there's this great little moment of a sky battle. This is where it's all kind of happening. We're getting characters facing off against each other.
They're all fighting the Mortal Kombat logo.
Yeah, basically. But it's good because we have these little battles, including the one you mentioned before, Ram Man. He gets a moment where he, boom, killer headbutt, which was really nice. Finally get to see him do a headbutt. I mean, he's Ram Man. Mm-hmm. He can ram more than a brick wall, so I thought it was quite good. It's obvious, and of course, mate, Stratos is back firing off a missile, so I'm happy. It's like 3 seconds of footage.
I changed my mind. I've returned. This missile's for you. Okay, I'm leaving.
But it's, no, I didn't mind the face-off. I liked the battle on top of Castle Grayskull. I really dug it, Yeah. I thought there was some interesting moments in there. And then we get the battle, the kaiju fight, basically, between a giant dragon and a giant snake.
Why not?
It was fine. It was good. It was serviceable. I am watching it going, man, if there was a movie version of this, you could have done something really kind of cool with it. But who hasn't seen, like, big giant monsters fighting each other in these days on movies? Mind you, if you want to see the best ever iteration of a live-action dragon there is out there, go and see Dungeons & Dragons on Amongst Thieves. Best dragon ever. Won't spoil anymore.
I love that. I love that chunky boy.
Yeah. So much.
That would be what Murder Bean would be like if Murder Bean was a dragon.
Absolutely. She's fattening up that one, isn't she?
Yeah. Oh, goodness. You have no idea. Did I tell you I've got a new one?
Yes, we did say we got some more minions. Oh,
yes.
I saw 2 new ones. But
two new ones, yes.
2 new ones.
Yes, 2 new ones. Yes, I have 2 new ones, so that brings the total up to 7 in my house. 7 little stinking little kittens.
So at this point, it's just a militia, but you are building towards an army.
Well, yes, but 1 kitten is worth at least a dozen men.
Yes, 100%. I agree with that. Now, we have the big battle at the end, and the dragon basically sides with He-Man. And is it Beastman who gets the line going, or is it Trapdoor going, it's a dragon, we can't find Masters of the Universe and a dragon? It's one of those two that says
it's one of them. I don't know. Like I said, I kind of checked out by this point.
He's delusional. Attack, you cowards. And then, so he serves it up to him, and he's the first one to turn around and run.
Well, absolutely.
And then they're flying away at his cowards. You cowards couldn't even defeat one little dragon.
He is basically a general manager of Snake Mountain. He's that, yeah, he's
And he's
a
only
char-
middle management.
yeah. I mean, we know Hordak's in charge of everything, but I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Come on.
If I
Yeah.
He would be that kind of person who would give Karen a gift certificate just to get her to get out of the store. Like, just go away. Yeah. Don't yell at me anymore.
I get the feeling, Jason, that dragon reminded you of something. I just get this feeling that particular dragon design reminded you of something because there's a... Did you pop up an image here in StreamYard just before?
I did, but I'm setting on that for right now.
Okay, all right. We'll move on. Hey, so the battle's
trying
over.
to spoil things.
Sorry, mate. So we should have probably talked about this before the show. So basically at the end of it, Skeletor and the crew's bailed, and we get this nice kind of after the battle moment. A significant moment is because Teela calls out something rather significant about why the dragon let He-Man go.
Mm-hmm.
Based upon smell, because it wasn't He-Man that freed that dragon, was it?
No.
It was Prince Adam. And she calls him out on it and gives this distinct look, Jason.
She knows.
She knows. And then I'll give it to Man-at-Arms. He has a kind of a cool comeback because they're taking shots out of the tequila flask at the end of it. And he goes, what did he say? Something about a canteen. He makes some analogy.
That was a good analogy, too.
It was a good analogy because it explained it all with Ram Man doing a one-liner and everybody laughed. So he's convinced Teela that, the most obvious thing that's in her face is not actually real. So that is a big, massive case of gaslighting.
We see lots of gaslighting in both episodes. Classic abuse.
Yeah. So I appreciate the animation style. I appreciate some of the action scenes. I think the weakest part of this episode, which continues to be the weakest part of the series, is not very good scripts. Just, they're shaky at best. The actual connective tissue of what makes a story, a lot of it's not there. Or if it is there, it's very rudimentary. A la just happening to see dragon eggs while you're juggling balls coming down the river. I know this is made for kids, but come on, kids are smart. Kids are seeing through this. So that's where I sat with the episode. Appreciate some of the animation. Really didn't appreciate the plot. And the strongest part of the plot was right at the end there in that last little slither.
I kind of see the 2002 He-Man as a classic bait and switch because the first few episodes were outstanding, and then after that the quality dipped. And I don't know, I guess just on the strength of those first few episodes, I kind of remembered the show a lot more fondly than what I am right now. But it's just as you said, it's the quality of the script. Now you can tell the people who were involved in this show liked the classic He-Man. They had great respect for the classic He-Man, but they just couldn't replicate it like it used to be. But
you need a fine storyteller. You need your Paul Dini's. You need those kind of quality writers they had on the Filmation series. You need that quality to come on through, and they don't have it. They really don't have it.
They don't.
It's a real shame. And the other thing you were saying about the first few episodes, what I've noticed is the distinct change in approach of the visuals too, because those first couple of episodes are very anime influenced, especially in the fighting styles. This seems to be abandoned by this point. We're going more...
at least they've abandoned the didgeridoos and the sword twirling as well, though.
Yeah. And which, I love anime, don't get me wrong, but it always didn't fit. I think the idea was a good idea, but the execution just never quite sat right for me.
Now, I'm going to go back to Revelations. There's a sequence in the very last episode of Revelations where He-Man fights an entire army, and it is anime. I mean, it is complete anime. I don't know if it was done by a Japanese studio or if it was just some other studio replicated the style, but it is about 2 or 3 minutes of just pure anime goodness, and it fit, and it looked really good.
Great. Yeah, well, yeah. If it's kind of handled well, I just thought it was overblown in those first couple of episodes. So
I'm
that's
right there with
where,
you. I still enjoyed it, though.
So that's where I'm at with the episode. Did you have anything more to add, sir?
Just it's another clear winner for Filmation this week. Again, this is probably Big one win. Of the top 3 for the series. I think it was very, very well done.
Absolutely. And, you know, the more we discover these, though, Jason, I mean, even some of the weakest, and we've seen some weak He-Man female Filmation episodes, it is standing the test of time, that series. Very much so, I think. You know, and I think that's one of the things that's surprising me now. We look back at 27 episodes that we've done of this so far, is that the more we talk about these different series, especially in the He-Man universe, the more love and appreciation I have for the storytelling, the moral messaging, and what they were trying to achieve in that Filmation series. It's really great. It's really great.
It was something special.
So, Jason, as we know, each week we have a responsibility. Hollywood, you know, the mayor of Hollywood called us and said, we're going to give you what you want to make this He-Man film. We need to cast our characters. It's a long process, but we're getting through it. And, of course, this week we've got to go and have a look at the character we've been talking about, and that is Beastman.
But we are not doing anything until they pay the writers.
Exactly.
Hey, your writers.
Yeah. We're not doing nothing. Not one Skerrick film will be shot. So until that's sorted out.
Exactly.
Now, we have to. Beastman's an interesting character to cast.
He is,
now,
yes.
10 years ago, they probably would have CGI'd him. But thankfully, common sense has prevailed.
Yes.
And we think practical effects would be. And I'm being legit here. If they made a He-Man movie, there is no reason to CGI Beastman at all. Not with prosthetics, not with makeup. So it came to the choice of who do you cast in this film? So, and Jace, you kind of brought to me, we got to cast him. I'm like, it's about an hour before the show, before we film this, and I'm going, I suppose we better go to pick someone. I thought we picked the same person, but we didn't. Let's start with yours, Jace. Who did you choose to be your Beastman?
So whenever I remembered that we had to cast this week, it was about an hour ago, and I just Googled physically intimidating actors, and it was coming up with The Rock, which
intimidating, yeah, right.
Yeah. You know, he's intimidating, but, you know, I have to win every fight I'm in. Shut up, Rock. You're not going to win this one. You're not in this movie. You'll never be in this movie. Yeah. Vin Diesel was one that came up. And, of course, you know, some people, one of them I thought was really kind of funny was Robert De Niro. And I was like, actually.
Yeah.
But I chose one of the most physically imposing actors I have seen in years.
Yeah.
And that is a man, I'm sure you all know his face, even though you may not know his name. Hafthor Bjornsson. An Icelandic giant. He was the mountain on Game of Thrones. He was the guy who popped the Mandalorian's head like a champagne cork.
Yeah. He is a specimen of a man. Like, look at him. He is huge. He is intimidating. He's got the right facial structure for the character. We know he could perform. It's an excellent choice, Jason. And kudos for pronouncing his name right, because I'm Australian. We can barely pronounce our own names right. So
I found a YouTube video where they pronounced his name, and I wrote it phonetically so I wouldn't screw it up, because I don't want Hafthor to be mad at me.
No,
because
he's one dude you don't want angry at, yeah, for sure.
Knock at my door, you just open it up. There's just this torso there, the head's above the frame. Goes, dude, did you get my name wrong? Oh my God, no!
I'm sorry.
I deserve what's happening. I'm sorry.
So we were confused because I thought it was the guy I was thinking of, and the guy I was thinking of, I just put Cocaine Bear. Like, not the bear guys, but there is an actor in the beginning of that who's just a highlight. Oh, he's in a couple of scenes of the film, but he's an absolute highlight. And it's this actor here, Christopher. I'm not even going to pretend you can see it. Hopefully it's Hivju. I have no idea.
I think it's Hivju.
Might
Christopher
be.
Hivju, I think. I could be wrong. I don't think he would come after me. He looks nice.
He looks nice. And the reason I chose him, because he can be an intimidating figure, but also I think, and maybe we haven't decided this because the writers are on strike, but what is the tone we go with Beastman here? You know, because I would say that my choice is probably a stronger actor than your choice. So it depends how we are.
Don't tell him that.
No, I'll deny it.
Hathor be mad now.
Yeah. But they're both excellent choices.
He's going to leap across the ocean and land in your front yard, making a crater.
Funny enough, you turned around and go, both our choices are from Game of Thrones.
Yes. It was funny. Whenever you said Cocaine Bear, I was still thinking of Hathor Bjornsson, and I was just thinking, who did
where was he in that movie?
Was he the bear? Did they just tell him, okay, you're a bear, you're on cocaine, go into that park, we're just going to film what happens?
Mind you, crossover opportunity, Jace, Cocaine Beastman. Just say it.
Oh, my
There's a
goodness.
crossover potential. Yeah.
Just kicks open the door. Skeletor! I'm gonna change you! What the? Run! He's lost it!
Fantastic.
Merman, you're his bro. Get down there!
So we haven't made our final decision, but there are our two choices for Beastman. I think they're excellent choices, Jason. So well done to both of us.
I could see them going either way.
Absolutely.
Both of them would be amazing choices.
That's it. Well, guys, that ties it up for another Power of J Skull episode. We have gone through Beastman. So, in that essence, I have nothing more to add. Do you have anything more to add there?
I do have something to add. I'm sure everybody's wondering who our character spotlight will be next week. Will it be a hero? Will it be a villain? Will it be from Masters of the Universe? Or will it be from Princess of Power? I decided to go with an outlier because, as Jay said, the dragons in this episode reminded me of a certain someone who did not show up a whole lot, but whenever he did show up, he was always imposing, and he actually showed up in both Masters of the Universe and Princess of Power. So, my choice for character spotlight next week is Granomir the Dragon.
Yay! Wow! So we're going to get to watch a Filmation He-Man and a Filmation She-Ra?
Yes, we are going to be looking at Granomir's first appearance in Masters of the Universe. It's called The Dragon's Gift. And then we're going to look at what is, I believe, his only appearance in Princess of Power. And that is called Dark Smoke and Fire. And if I remember right, watching this one as a kid, I thought two things. One, this is a cool episode, and two, this is a very clever way to bring Granomir into a story that doesn't involve him.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to that. What an interesting choice there, Jace. I love it. I really love it. It's, it wouldn't have been what I've expected, but yeah. Wasn't he an episode we've already reviewed, though?
I don't think he was, but I could be wrong.
At one point. Yeah, I mean, we've done a few at this point, but definitely not those episodes you've mentioned. So,
yep. Also, Mattel Origins. Get on it. Where is he?
Yeah,
I want him.
Why haven't they? You know, you would think that's, you make him big, you sell him for an extra $20, everybody wins.
Exactly, I'd buy him. Why has he got a helmet?
I don't know, but, head safety is important. You don't know. He may be bike riding later. Who knows?
Now, are those horns on his helmet, or are they part of his head? I don't know. These are questions we will ask.
That's a philosophical question. Yeah, we're going to leave you with this week.
Indeed.
Absolutely. All right, guys. As always, if you did, like I said at the beginning of the show, you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, follow, all that kind of thing. We got so much planned for this show, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And until next week, this has been Jason, that has been Jason, and this has been...
The Power of J Skull!
See ya, guys.
Check out SpectrumSanctorum.net for all of our podcast merch. We have an entire merch store ready to give you all the things that you loved about our podcast. And get notified on all of our socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and our Spectrum Sanctorum merch store. Follow us today and be sure to hit that bell when you're watching our YouTube videos so you can be notified of when a new episode releases.